Hi everyone, and welcome to my weekly real estate market update. I do hope you're well. For those of you that watched the game last night, another successful win by Queensland. So go Queenslander, and sorry for all you Blue supporters out there. This week in my real estate market wrap, I'm going to talk about property prices across Australia and locally here on the Sunshine Coast as well. We're going to look into what the property market's doing moving forward. There's a lower level of property listings right now. We're also going to look at population growth and what that means on buyer demand moving forward. I touch base a little bit on the school holidays coming up as well and what that means for buyers and sellers. And then we'll wrap it up with some good news stories about new properties coming to the market soon in our local area. So property prices across Australia are down 6.9% over the last 12 months. However, in the last 3 months, we've actually seen prices rise by about 2.3%. Now in Sydney over the last month, prices are up 1.2%, in Brisbane about 1.1%. So we are seeing a consistent trend now of property prices moving slightly in the positive direction. So prices are down obviously over the last 12 months across Australia, but in the last 3 months, prices have risen 2.3%. So if we look forward over the next 9 months, if prices continue to do this, we expect that prices across Australia and our local markets here would increase by anywhere between 5 to 10%. So whilst the negative figures still current, in 9 months' time or in 12 months' time, we will see that in the positive direction. A couple of factors that are really influencing this right now and holding prices firm despite the cash rate rises and interest rate rises is the lower levels of properties available to purchase right now. So a lot of sellers are actually showing hesitance to putting their properties to the market. And a couple of reasons for that is that, why would you cash out on a current interest rate into a high interest rate if you sold and repurchased? There's also, tax disadvantages when selling and buying. So that can create, a little bit of a hurdle when you're making that transition. And the other thing to consider is that, looking out there, potential sellers right now aren't seeing properties available to buy. So they're holding back until that right opportunity comes. Now, this I expect will change as sellers start to see the positive price trends again and have more confidence around the market at the moment. Sellers will come back into the market. Now, that might mean more availability, and some might think that would, maybe decline prices because as there's more availability, buyers have more choice and more negotiations power. But the other thing to consider is that all sellers, when they come to the market, are generally buyers too. So buyer demand will actually increase. So I don't actually think that will have an effect on bringing prices down. I actually think that will improve prices, and it'll actually improve the market for both buyers and sellers because buyers will have more options, sellers will have more options to purchase as well, and generally that will make the market a little bit more flourishing than the current market that we're seeing where sellers and buyers don't have many opportunities to purchase. A little report by realestate.com this week, which I found interesting, was in regards to the $1 Million Exclusive Club, which has become more exclusive over the last 12 months. So that's where the markets that have properties with a median value of $1 million plus have actually fallen back. So across Australia, of the roughly 4,400 markets assessed, this has declined by about 23%. On the Sunshine Coast, that $1 Million Club has reduced by about 13%. So 13% less property markets across the Sunshine Coast that now have a value of $1 million and above. Over the last few months, we've seen, or there's been a reported 78,000 properties sold. At the same time, only 68,000 new properties coming up for sale on the market. So that's a fairly good indication of supply and demand with the sales to listing ratio of 1.15. So that indicates to me that there's going to be less properties for sale and demand is going to improve as well. Now, if that happens with the population forecast for Australia moving forward, we can only expect prices to continue to rise over the next few years. So whilst the cash rate is concerning a lot of people, and I'm hearing it every day that, costs are rising and people can't afford as much as what they've been used to, I don't think that's going to have a big impact on property prices, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your situation, I suppose. I expect demand to increase. Now, Matusik shared some charts, which I'll put in my blog, so check the link below. You can have a look at those charts as well. The population forecast currently and moving forward. Now, in Australia, back in 1971, we saw a population boom of 535,000 people. We're getting close to that this year with about 524,000 forecast this year. and going forward into the next few years, a little bit less than that. But I mean, a huge amount of people, huge amount of demand that's going to be pushing into the property market as well. And with the lacking of properties listed for sale, I think that's only going to put prices into the positive direction. In the rental sector, we are seeing prices still increase, particularly in the capital cities where a lot of that demand's being pushed in further. In the regional areas, the rental demand has actually fallen backwards a little bit, and I think it's just because of the demand and also affordability considerations as well. So a fewer people looking for rentals or being able to justify the prices that some houses are asking for rent fees. So we are seeing that demand in the Sunshine Coast fall back a little bit, but prices are still up there, and there's still very much low vacancy rates, so they're hard to find properties for rent at the moment. We're seeing a lot of demand in that sort of 600 to 800 category. Anything above that is getting less interest, naturally because of the pricing affordability there. So that's a little bit on the rental side of things as well. We are coming up to the school holidays now. So next week, school holidays starts. For some people, school holidays have already started. And a lot of people ask me the question about buying and selling in school holidays periods. Well, it doesn't really affect us too much here on the Sunshine Coast in my personal experience. I find that there's actually more buyers out and about looking at properties because they've got more time to do that sort of thing. They might not be active buyers looking for property, but they're actually just, searching the area and starting to create that new interest for purchasing property moving forward as well. So it's not necessarily a bad time to sell. Yes, you find a lot of families and people might be traveling and going away. Maybe there'll be less buyer demand in that period, but I think at the same time we will have those travellers coming into the area looking at properties here as well. So school holidays will begin next week for us here on the Sunshine Coast. And guys, looking at the local market, we've got a couple of properties really nice here that I talked about last week. And I've got two in particular that I want to talk about this week. So Old Orchard Estate, lovely estate here in Palmwoods. And I've got two lovely homes just about to hit the market. So if you're looking to buy in the Palmwoods area, definitely get in touch and give us a call. Guys, that's it from me this week. If there's anything at all we can help you with, please get in touch. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your week.